Hello, I'm back. It's been a few weeks since I posted a video because I've been away on holiday and then I was sick for a couple of weeks and just time has disappeared really quickly. So I've been posting shorts, but I haven't done a longer video for a little while. So here I am. I am today going to talk about taking a guilt-free social time out. Often we get really busy and all consumed with work, but we also get busy with our social lives as well. And sometimes we just need to take some time out from everything, not just work, but socially as well. So that's what I want to talk about today. I am Michelle and I have been sharing my journey through burnout recovery for quite a while. I hit the wall with burnout in 2021 and around the same time I was going through menopause. So it was a bit of a turbulent time and I'm fully recovered now, but I'm still sharing my journey and everything that I've learned in the hope that it helps anyone else going through similar feel seen, understood, and hopeful, because there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. So, to what I wanted to talk about, the guilt-free social timeout. When I hit the wall with burnout, taking time out was really, really essential for me. And social timeout was as well, not just time away from work. Burnout isn't just about work. For me, when I reached that point, it came from absolutely everything, from just being on all the time, including socially. And when I first stepped away from work and took a couple of months off to focus on my burnout recovery, I genuinely thought that I was resting. But even then, I felt this constant sense of obligation. I felt like my time still needed to be filled all the time, or any rest or any break that I was having had to be justified. I wasn't working, so I told myself that I should be catching up with people, all the people that I'd been neglecting for so long when I've been so busy with work. I needed to be replying to things quickly, saying yes to coffees and conversations. And, on paper, that looked like balance. I was taking a break from work and filling myself up with social activity. But in reality, I still wasn't getting a proper mental break. It took me a while to realize that constantly being available, even socially, was keeping my nervous system switched on. What I actually really needed wasn't lighter plans or better time management. It was a guilt-free social timeout, something that would give me permission to fully step back and reset. One of the hardest lessons I've had to learn is how to say no without guilt. People pleasing is something that is just, ingrained in me and many of us. And I genuinely want to be there for the people that I care about. I never want to disappoint anyone. I don't want to seem rude, but this tendency to overcommit was one of the things that led me to burnout in the first place. And I have a great circle of fantastic supportive friends, as many of us do. And I love deep conversations and meaningful connection. But when I need time out, I need real time out. But the problem is, even when I block rest time in my calendar, I would find myself thinking, if somebody asked me to catch up, well, technically I am free that afternoon. I could fit in a coffee if they really need me. And then the spiral starts. What if they're going through something and they need my support? What if they think I'm avoiding them? I start getting really paranoid about, what they might be thinking. And before I know it, I'm stressed, I'm exhausted, and I'm feeling resentful. Not because of my friends, they haven't done anything wrong, but because I didn't honor my need for space. And some of this is, I think, related to just getting older and noticing my capacity change. As I've got older, I have noticed that I've become more introverted. Actually, to be honest, I was always quite introverted, but alcohol was something that helped me be more extroverted. That's another story. I'm 3 years alcohol free now and I'm embracing my inner introvert. So I'm quite fine with it now, but that's another story. I still deeply value my friendships and the connections that I have with people I care about, and that hasn't changed. But what has changed is my capacity. Social connection now costs me a lot more energy than it used to, especially when I'm already depleted. For a long time, I pushed through that without questioning it. I told myself that staying connected was always a good thing and that needing less was something that I should be overriding. I thought there's something wrong with me if I'm not wanting to catch up with people. Everybody wants connection. We need connection. But I've since learned that ignoring my limits comes at a real cost to my mental health. Respecting my capacity isn't withdrawal, it's just self-awareness. So I kept telling myself I just needed better boundaries or more discipline. I tried blocking out rest time and being more selective with my plans, but I was still switched on, still negotiating, still feeling pulled in all directions. After a lot of overthinking and procrastination, I finally decided that what I needed wasn't better planning, it was a guilt-free social timeout. I really just needed time out. I realized I was trying to manage my social life and it wasn't working. So I decided to take an entire month off from social plans. I already had a couple of months off work, but I decided to take 1 month off social plans as well. No coffee catch-ups, no commitments, no appointments in my calendar, no making future plans. I called it my yes fast because at the time it was in February and we have this Feb fast and people fast from alcohol, fast from whatever you want really. So I decided I was going to have a fast from saying yes, because my intention was to say no to everything external so that I could say yes only to myself. But I also knew I couldn't just disappear without saying anything. The thought of ignoring messages or constantly turning down invitations filled me with guilt. I didn't want people to think that I was avoiding them, and I didn't want to spend the whole month explaining myself either. So I realized that the simplest solution was to name the boundary super clearly up front and frame it as what it was, a guilt-free social timeout that I needed in order to properly rest and reset. So what I did was I posted it on Facebook. I wrote this message and I posted it on social media. Hey friends, this February I'm focusing on personal projects, rest and recharging. I'll be saying no to plans and commitments so I can fully prioritize what I need. If I don't respond to messages straight away, like I usually do, please know that it's not personal, with a couple of smiley face emojis. It was super short and super straightforward, but it did a lot of heavy lifting. I had done something similar a few years ago when I was feeling socially drained, and it worked wonders back then too. At that time, I included some images as well about recharging my battery, filling my cup, that sort of thing. And that helped to convey the message visually. So how this post worked, why it worked, it wasn't just about setting boundaries, it was about giving myself permission to rest and letting others know what to expect. Even the act of writing it down and making it public made me feel like I was given permission, giving myself permission. So a couple of reasons why it worked so well. It set a clear boundary up front. My friends knew I wasn't available, and that saved me from the pressure of having to explain myself over and over again. It removed the guilt. I didn't have to feel bad about saying no to plans because I'd already communicated my reason, and it gave me space to recharge without overthinking. I could fully enjoy my downtime without constantly worrying about how I might be perceived. So one of the best parts of this approach was how gently it worked. I wasn't ignoring people or dodging invitations. People simply understood that I wasn't available. And that understanding saved me an enormous amount of mental energy. I didn't have to come up with responses to messages like, when can we catch up? Or are you free this week? The boundary did the work for me. Not a single person made me feel guilty. In fact, a few people messaged me privately to say they admired my ability to prioritize myself and that they needed to do something similar. Since then, I've seen similar ideas reflected in the work of Robin Sharma, he's written this book called The Wealth Money Can't Buy, which I love. He talks in that book about going ghost, intentionally stepping away from noise, obligations, and constant availability so that you can focus, reset, and reconnect with yourself. He talks about doing this for much longer periods, sometimes even a whole year, and ideally in an exotic location. And while that sounds fantastic, it can also feel like a luxury that just isn't realistic for most of us. But what I appreciate is that he also talks about how even a much shorter period can make a really meaningful difference. A month, a defined pause, and it doesn't have to happen somewhere far away. It can happen right where you already are, in your own community, in your own home, with your existing life continuing around you. For me, a month-long guilt-free social timeout was exactly what I needed. It gave me space to think clearly, to rest properly, and to stop negotiating with myself every time an invitation came up. And the length of time matters far less than the intention. What made the difference wasn't disappearing forever, it was choosing deliberately to step back for a defined period of time without guilt. If you're feeling socially burnt out and struggling to take a break, here are a few things that helped me. Acknowledge your need for rest. It's okay to admit that you're exhausted. You don't need to push through just to meet external expectations. Set clear boundaries and communicate them. Whether it's a social media post, a group text, or a quick message to some close friends, let people know that you need a timeout. Say no without over-explaining. You don't need to justify your decision. Just a simple, "I'm not available this month" is enough. Protect your free time. Just because there's a gap in your schedule doesn't mean that it's open for plans. That time can be for you, whether you're writing, walking, or just doing nothing at all. Trust that your true friends will understand. The right people will support your decision and respect your need for space. Taking a break from social activities is not about being selfish, it's about showing love to yourself. When you're burnt out, you can't give your best to the people around you. But when you recharge, you come back with renewed energy, presence, and warmth. So if your social battery is dead and you're feeling overwhelmed, give yourself permission to take a step back. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your rest, and prioritizing your well-being isn't just okay, it's necessary. So hopefully that's helpful, and that is it from me for today. If you are interested in the kind of things that I talk about and you think it might be helpful, then please subscribe. And I post shorts regularly, but I will be trying to do a longer video like this once every couple of weeks, or at least once a month. So have a good day.